So if you've seen my videos, 11 out of my, I believe 28 videos I've made so far on my channel are diss tracks. So you might be wondering, why do I do diss tracks to begin with, and why do I diss the certain people that I do? So all of that will be explained here in this video. So initially, I had an idea to do like what Genius does. They get the artist and they annotate the lyrics of a song, but I felt it would be too long, so this will do. First things first, the reason I do diss tracks is because I've wanted to record myself rapping for the longest time, and I've had like this craving for, I would say, since about maybe sophomore year of high school, because that's when I started writing raps. It wasn't a full-time thing I would do. It's not this thing I would do constantly and daily. It's a thing I would do more on my spare time. So it was meant to happen, and I don't feel real too comfortable making a rap about serious things going on in the world or my personal life. So I feel diss tracks is a good alternative to that, and they're fun to make. The first diss track I ever made, Kyrie. So why I do a diss track on him? As if you listen to Kyrie, you could obviously tell that I'm a Celtics fan. And the funny thing about that is, a lot of people, I believe, were glad when Kyrie left, and no one was even begging him to come back, because typically that's what would happen if you have a alleged superstar on your team and he was hit in free agency. But not with Kyrie, and you notice how I said alleged superstar, because all these people hype him up because, oh, he helped LeBron win the championship. No, LeBron is the reason he won a championship. Kyrie never made the playoffs before LeBron came back to Cleveland. So everybody needs to shut it when it comes to that narrative about Kyrie hitting the most clutch shot in NBA Finals history. Well, that wouldn't be anything if Steph Curry hit a three right after Kyrie made his shot. No one would be talking about it. Why is no one talking about the fact that Cavs played defense, played this top tier defense? Because the Warriors did not score a single point after Kyrie made that shot. But everyone wants to talk about Kyrie and how he hit the shot. And I didn't like the way he was conducting himself in Boston. He acted like a little brat. He would put teammates under the bus, and that doesn't help. Guys were already having big egos because they had this big playoff run the previous year without Kyrie. And then they add Kyrie to the mix. Guys feel they should be getting more playing time than they are, getting more touches with the ball than they are, but aren't, because Kyrie's dominating the ball. So that's why I did the diss track on Kyrie, because he's probably one of the worst Celtics of all time when it comes to being a teammate. Now with Rice Gum, I wrote a lot of those lyrics to Irrelevant, I would say a year or 2 years prior to when I did officially release it. And I remember when I was writing the bulk of those lyrics, I was doing this thing where I would write diss tracks, or write diss lyrics actually, that would be more accurate, to whoever it might be. And that might be how it kind of started, as I would write disses to, let's say, Drake. I don't think I'm ever going to make a Drake diss track, because I have too much respect for him as a musician. As a person, yeah, it's a little iffy, but I don't really feel it's necessary for me to go diss the Six God or Drizzy or Champagne Poppy, whatever you want to call him. So that's why I did the Rice Gum diss track. And there wasn't anything during that time when I released Irrelevant that made Rice Gum be in the news. And there really hasn't been anything that Rice Gum's done, anything too problematic in the last year or two that's made them get controversy. So this is more of just me wanting to use written lyrics I had already and put them into a song. iDubbbz, he probably deserved a diss track from me to lease out everyone I dissed. His name was trending because it was revealed during that time that his girlfriend had an OnlyFans, and people were making all these memes about it because it kind of went against the image that many people thought of iDubbbz as this guy that doesn't really care and is focused on himself as opposed to getting into relationships with women. But when you hear something like that, it's kind of the opposite. And I wanted to see the kind of disses I could make against him, as I feel people view him as like YouTube Eminem, because with Eminem, people would say this: man, when he makes a diss track at you, you can't come back from that. Your career is over. And it's kind of the same way with iDubbbz series Content Cop. Man, when he makes a content cop on you, you can't come back from that. Your career's over. Jake Paul, that's just self-explanatory. He's a scumbag, he's abusive, he's a liar, he's a hypocrite. How many people have made videos on him and he doesn't want to take any accountability for his actions? Kind of sounds like somebody I know. My upstairs neighbor. Might as well go over why I had a second diss track on Jake Paul. My first one was way too short because some of the audio got messed up. So some of the lines I did record, they got erased. And I just dealt with what I had. I didn't feel the motivation that day to re-record. So I just stuck with what I had. And Jake Paul, there's so much you can diss on him. You can make a book on all the scummy things that he's done. J Station, that's kind of the same thing that I already said with Jake Paul, just way worse, I would say, because he's been accused of domestic violence and there's been other accusations as well. And the reason I believe the accusations is because they're all consistent. It's all consistent to the character of a specific person. So I believe the people that have accused J Station of being a manipulative, controlling, abusive scumbag. So that's why I dissed him. Pokimane. Her name was in controversy. And the funny thing is now that we're in December and I recorded the diss track to Pokimane in August and she's in another controversy. So I swear, this diss track aged like some great fine wine. But the controversy that prompted me to diss Pokimane in August was all started because Keemstar just made a simple tweet saying Pokimane 2 out of 10. And a lot of people assumed that meant he was ranking her looks. And of course, Pokimane, she got triggered because anytime you ever try to criticize her for anything, she gets triggered like an insane feminist. She's probably the type of girl that if you were in school, you were to write a rough draft, let's say in high school, and she gave it to the teacher would say, oh, well, you need to do this, your grammar's a little off and you need to fix this. She'd be like, no way, no, shut up, it's perfect, no, I need to get an A on this, what are you talking about, it's perfect the way it is, I don't need a rough draft. So, why not counter this whole situation where Pokimane can't take criticism and make a diss track on her? Silento. This is another one that aged like fine wine. I made this shortly after he got arrested for domestic violence and broke into a family's home with a hatchet chasing his girlfriend. That, enough said with that. When you do something like that, you need to get ridiculed as much as possible by the internet. And now he got arrested for beating, I believe. So, you got a combination of a bad musician and a bad person. Terrific. Pretty Boy Fredo. Shout out to my boy Evans for this one, as he was sending me videos and suggestions on who to diss. So I gotta give a shout out to Evans for this idea on dissing him. He showed me this video where he leaked his baby mama's number because he was calling her at like 11 o'clock, I believe. It was around the time when his daughter would be going to bed. And then he was getting triggered. He was like, "No, why is she not calling me?" So he leaked his number to his cult member. I mean fans. And then I saw a video that Quadeca made where he talks about how Pretty Boy Fredo stole the entire concept for one of his videos. Everything from the thumbnail to the title of the video to what it had in the description and some of the tags. But then Pretty Boy Fredo has the audacity to be mad over that. Quadeca just calls him out, and then Pretty Boy Fredo got all triggered. What? Are you serious? You're criticizing me? How dare you, bro? So that's why I added in that line and made a reference to someone I made a diss track on previously in Pokimane. And that's why I said him and Pokimane would be the perfect couple, because they both get triggered at anybody that criticizes them. And most of the time, there's a legitimate reason for why they're getting criticized. And the people that might be criticizing them do it in a well thought out manner. EDP 445. He's been trending lately because he's had accusations of being a pedophile, and there's been evidence as to him DMing underage girls and saying inappropriate sexual things to them. And the thing that was really the last straw for me was this video where he's justifying doing this. You could see it in the diss track at the end. That's the video I'm referencing. And lastly, Lil Pump. This is just straight ridiculous. I get it. You gotta do things to get attention, to get clout. I do things to get attention, to get clout. And doing these diss tracks on popular people is a way to potentially do that. So I get that, but saying that you're a supporter of Donald Trump, that was really your best way? That's really what you thought was the best thing to do in order to get some of the fame that you lost from Gucci Gang? And that no one really cares about you now? That's really what you thought was a good idea? Do you think that teenagers whose parents are Trump supporters are listening to you, Lil Pump? Do you really think that? When you were at the rally in Michigan for MAGA supporters, the saving grace was that they had no idea who you were. They might be thinking, man, I gotta check this Lil Pump guy out. But then they hear Gucci Gang and they're like, this is some garbage. I'm disgusted. I'm not letting my child anywhere near this garbage music. And Lil Pump, the reason why you're getting attention is because you are making yourself look like a damn fool. And you didn't even vote. So it makes it even more transparent that the only reason you even said, oh, MAGA 2020 is because you wanted to get that attention back. But no one is giving you that attention permanently because we're just laughing at you and how you're a damn fool. So hopefully you enjoyed me giving my explanations as to why I made diss tracks and why I dissed certain people. So I'm actually going to give you a sneak preview as to who's the next person I'm going to be dissing. Drum roll, please. Lori woman and her daughter, because her daughter recently was on the Jada Pinkett show, whatever that's called, the Red Velvet or Red Carpet, whatever it's called. Or let's come up with a better name for that show. Women who don't want to take accountability for their actions. Because Jada Pinkett, what did she say when she was exposed for cheating on Will? I had an entanglement with August. And then Lori Laughlin's daughter, she's saying, oh, I'm so sorry for what I did. Shut up. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry because you got exposed. So, screw you. So, thank you if you've made it to this point of the video, because like Jay-Z says in his song Hova, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with me. So, I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on if you like my content. It's the Whatever Kid, and I'll be back with a diss track.